So as you all can see, I have my Lucion aura because I got Lucion tier 2 down. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about a tariff-loving Republican president who presided over a depression following his term, and he was a suave but controversial financial analyst. Of course, I'm talking about William McKinley. Who'd you think I was talking about? But William McKinley is one of our greatest presidents, and I think he's often overlooked as the founding father of, well, modern foreign American policy. And to give you some context here, we are going back into pretentious video intros. William McKinley was mainly known as the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee in the 1880s into the 1890s. For those of you who don't know or aren't American, the Ways and Means Committee is the body of Congress that controls the purse. And this was an incredibly powerful position because this is post-Civil War, 1865 through about 1900 was Reconstruction. So the person in charge of the Ways and Means Committee was the person presiding over Reconstruction. And William McKinley was the dude in charge of that. But McKinley also then could set a lot of fiscal policy, and he did love tariffs. Now, tariffs can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, but one thing they can do is cause inflation. And when he pushed a bunch of inflationary measures in the 1888 year, it caused some problems. And by 1890, with the election coming up, the Democrats, the Southern Democrats, took control of Congress. There was about a 90-seat loss by the Republicans, and this is in the Reconstruction era. This was massive. His tariffs did cause a lot of inflation, and people were not very happy about it. So, what happens to Mr. McKinley? Well, a couple years go by, Grover Cleveland gets his second term, and then in 1896, I believe, I'm doing this without a script, so someone fact check me, the Republicans retake Congress over the Democrats' ineptitude and get 110 or something seats back after the 90 loss and take back control of Congress. William McKinley then gets elected in, 1896, 1897 election. And he has a problem because his vice president eventually, despite the constant criticisms from his financial backers, is Theodore Roosevelt, the cowboy. And the Spanish-American War breaks out. Big problem. The Republicans at this time are really pushing for expansionism. They're trying to become a colonial power. They're trying to also sort of do this while pushing tariffs, and that's sort of contradictory. But the Spanish-American War breaks out because the U.S. vessel, the Maine, is sunk. And the traditional way people look at this part of history is William McKinley did really nothing to stymie the war. He sat back, let the Maine get sunk, does nothing to control the press, and launches into the Spanish-American War and issues in an era of American expansionism. But that's not what we really know from his private letters to his friends. William McKinley did not want to be a part of the Spanish-American War. Once the Maine was sunk, he didn't have a choice but to go into it. And with his vice president eventually being Theodore Roosevelt, the leader of the Rough Riders during the Spanish-American War, he just had a massive problem on his hands. And the other problem was we beat Madrid pretty badly. We sunk their fleets in a matter of weeks. We beat their armies in a matter of months. And then we ended up with Cuba, Puerto Rico, and eventually with a $25 million purchase, the Philippines. And they did not become colonies. They became protectorates. So what happened? It was William McKinley. Despite his party's need for expansionism, he fought them internally. He consistently fought against the idea that America should have colonial influence over the world. He pushed for the idea that they should become protectorates, which Puerto Rico still is. Cuba isn't because of the communist revolution, and the Philippines still is. He sort of set the tone for what American foreign policy was going to be for the next 120 years, which was we were going to interfere in world politics, but we weren't going to have colonies. And this is an important thing, because if you really think about it, Korea could be a colony of the United States. Iraq could be a colony of the United States. It was really William McKinley who pushed against his own party to stop this, and the only compromise he could make was, I can't stop the Spanish-American War from happening, so we better go through with it. But we can do something different, and he created the idea of protectorates, and that is why I think he is one of the greatest U.S. presidents ever, because the world history could be way worse if America decided to start taking colonies. And he consistently ranks in the top 15 of presidents as voted on by historians, but I don't trust their rankings because they also rank Woodrow Wilson 13th, which is ridiculous. He was a racist even for the time. He should be the bottom. He's the worst president ever. But McKinley often gets overlooked as, if you like American expansionism, he is the father of it, the one who created the policy for it. And even if you hate it, he's the one who kind of stymied it. He was the right man for the right time, the right position, right everything. And I think he deserves some credit for that. So speaking of which, the right class for the right time, at the right position. Yeah, it's not Berserk Barb, actually. I like this class, I love this class, but this is decidedly not budget, and I have always made my classes on being a dad gamer. I create my classes on the thing no one's playing that's going to be incredibly cheap, and Berserk Barb was incredibly cheap, and now you see a lot of people are playing it. I don't think that's me, I think it's just that Lucion is very easy to kill on Berserk Barb. So, since I've already achieved my goal for the season, which was Tier 2 Lucion, let's go back to basics here. Summons on. I want to kill Lucion Tier 2 on Summons on, which is probably impossible, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I'll post, if I remember to record, my first attempt on Tier 1, which did not go well with the Demon Machine setup, and I'm wearing my Disciple. I'm going full meme. I know you guys are probably laughing. I did wear the Disciple set. I even fucking desecrated a Telling of Beads on my first Tier 2 Lucian kill with the barb, and then it popped 2 skills. How could I not? And it did not work out well. I got to I'm not even saying I got to 20%, I got to 80%. I got to the first ad phase and immediately did not have enough damage with the Demon Machine to do anything. So I know what I'm going to have to do here. I'm probably going to have to switch off the Disciple set, but I'm going to stay on this as long as I can. And I even have I sold off the Sin to do this, the Vamp Gaze from the Assassin, with lows in it to get my lightning res up and the whole shebang. The problem is I didn't have enough FCR to keep spawning the minions, and I didn't have enough damage to do anything else. So I think the answer here eventually is I'm going to have to switch off the Disciple set to kill Tier 2 Lucian. Sure, I know that. But I think the answer is the Eagle Horn. I think the answer is to hybrid, as I've done in years past. Strafe, yeah, multi-shot, hybrid here. Decoy, Valkyrie, penetrate, strafe, but then you have all these points that you don't have anything to do with, and they took the Pierce off the Demon Machine, so I could dump them into Pierce, but I think the answer is to dump into multi-shot, and you can see it. I did try Lucian Tier 2 at level 89 like a jackass, but I'm one skill off from being on max. Oh, I am a max era with multi-shot here, and I think with enough damage from multi-shot and Eagle Horn and the extra Ravens, which will come from when I'm strafing on single target, that's probably the only way I can see this going. So the reason I'm putting this video out is I'm looking for ideas. I want to see someone do this. It probably won't be me because this is just too ambitious of a project for me to do with a family, a very difficult job. I want to see someone knock this out on Summons on, because it is a good Uber killer, but it can't do Declone because of the pillars. It can't really do Rathma because of everything. It should be able to do Lucian in theory. It just needs enough damage, and I don't think I have the time to grind up the gear to do it. So if you have ideas, let me know. But the Disciple set with all this extra damage to demons, I was trying to meme potential all of this. I know a Fortitude will just blow this out of the water, but I think there's a way to get this done. And if you guys have ideas, let me know. And if someone wants to try this, I would challenge the community on this. I think Summons On can do Lucian, and I bet you there's a way to do it comfortably. It's just a matter of getting the damage up to the point where you can actually clear it, because everyone knows it's a good Uber killer because of the decoys and the Valkyries, and you can lock bosses down. But if you can just ramp the damage up enough, it should be able to put this on farm until they actually change it. And I did not prepare for this video very well. I did have the Vamp Gaze on, I had a Nature's Peace on here instead, and only had 10 faster cast rate, which was a massive problem. And then the Demon Machine, and then these Quivers. So I had, what, level 40 decoys, level 40 Valks, and I had a very good, I rolled my own CTA and finally got a good one, 5-6. I had no money left and couldn't even buy a 2-skill lidless. I have 0 runes and 1 world stone shard left. So if anyone wants to give this a shot, or have ideas to potentially do this on the budget, let me know, and I will keep giving it a shot. Since I've already got my tier 2 kill, my new goal for the season will be to get this down on Summons On, and if I can keep this Dark Adherent, that would be ideal. See you guys later.